everyone. I'm doing a get ready with me video. What a month I had last month. Okay. So after my birthday, I had made plans. I'm using the peach multi-stick, the new one from Wet n Wild. I had made plans, to do a good spring cleaning. Wanted to wash all my clothes, all my sheets. Give the bathroom and the kitchen a good cleaning, and I had several appointments for the month. So what I had planned to do was just rest for the rest of the week of my birthday, and then the following week get to doing what I needed to do. And then Sunday, I'm just gonna do what I did for St. Patrick's Day. I really liked it, and I didn't get to take a picture with it, so I'm just doing it now. So I'm just using my Rose All Day eyeshadow palette from Physicians Formula. Anyway, Sunday, because my birthday was on a Tuesday, I know I did a video, and then I was trying to rest for the week, and then Sunday, my daughter noticed that the rabbit hadn't eaten. The rabbit couldn't go to the bathroom. And if you know anything, exotic pets are not the same as, a dog and a cat. Rabbits are very delicate inside and out. They, if they don't eat, if they can't go to the bathroom, then they get what's known as gastrointestinal stasis, GI stasis. So you really need to know your rabbit. I heard like chinchillas too, they have to have hay. Hay should be at least 90% of their diet. So you have to keep hay for them out all day long. And when my daughter went to go change her litter, she noticed that she hadn't gone to the bathroom all night. And she loves her greens. She loves her veggies. Even like you need to know what kind of veggies they can and can't eat. And we made a little, what I call a hidey hole. We took a medium-sized cage, we put like a blanket in there, and we put a blanket over it so it could be dark, because rabbits are prey animals and they need to feel secure. So it was open, she could go in and out anytime she wanted. And she wasn't coming out. Because rabbits are prey animals, they won't let you know verbally. Like, they keep quiet and they just hide when they're in pain or they're hurting or something. So my daughter knew immediately. She knew that something was seriously wrong. So usually, she's a first time rabbit owner, and any little thing would send my daughter into a panic. So usually I do not run off to the emergency vet, aside from it being ridiculously expensive. It's a waste. Usually when she thinks something's wrong, she's usually okay by the next day. But since I have been studying about rabbits, I knew If they're not going to the bathroom and they're not eating, you know, they could die within 24 hours. That's how delicate rabbits are. So I went ahead and I went to the emergency vet, which usually Katie is about hour and a half to 2 hours drive away from me. Usually, because of the traffic, and usually I can't take a highway there. I usually have to take the 8, which is toll road only, which you can't use cash anymore. So it's not something I like to do. But when she said she wouldn't come out to eat all day, and that the few times she came out, you could tell she was in pain. Like, you just need to know your pet. She knew something was seriously wrong with her. So we bit the bullet, and you know, I have a credit card that I you know, try not to use, and I had to use it definitely. It's like, I think $260 just to walk through the door or something like that. So we waited for the vet. We were there for about 2 or 3 hours. We had to wait for the vet. We were the first ones. So they were on call, the exotic vets, and we were the first ones to get there. Right after me, another guy came with his bird. And he said he knows his bird is dying. He's been back and forth to the vet with the bird. I felt so bad. They don't let you go. This is one of the things I don't like. They don't let you go to the back to be with your pet. We usually have a backpack carrier where she could see out of, but we just took her in the cage. We just closed the cage that what we call her hidey hole. We just closed the door and took her, and they took her to the back, and we were there for like 2 or 3 hours, and you know, I get anxious, Stephanie gets anxious, and I don't know what made me say this, but I said, what would you do if they tell you you need to put her down? And she's like, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, okay. So the vet comes out, and she said that that she feels that she needs to keep her overnight and do blood work on her and see if she can get a urinalysis on her. She thought maybe it was like something with the kidneys, maybe sometimes rabbits can't eat, like, you're supposed to give them greens, but sometimes it messes up their kidneys, so you need to do light greens instead of dark greens. So she said she'd like to keep her overnight for observation. I already know that it's going to be money. I didn't want to leave her. You know, she's in there without her family. But Stephanie says she thinks it's the best. It took, there was no traffic at all. So I actually got there in less than 45 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes. We took a different road, you know, that was free to use. Instead of following the toll road to get there, we just, you know, took roads that took us there without having to pay for it, and there was like no traffic, and we got there pretty quick. So my daughter felt, do it, keep her overnight, you know, get the blood work, get the urinalysis, let's see what's wrong. And you know, that one of the things that the review for this place had either loved it or hated it, because the people who hate it was the cost. Of course they want you to stay, of course they want to do the overnight, of course they want to do this, that, and other thing. She says she might need surgery, all these things. I'm like, OMG, what's that gonna cost us? So to stay overnight, we had to pay $550 ahead of time. And if they did anything else, then they would, charge more. So she was like, oh, if you don't hear from us, then, no news is good news, and you could just come tomorrow and get her, and we'll tell you whatever the test results, were. So I didn't want to do it, but my daughter said no, she knew something wasn't right with my poor grandbunny, and she's like, just let them do it. So we left her there, and came home, and we were worried, and we get a call like, oh no. They did the blood results and said that there's definitely something wrong with her liver. And from her experience, from what she saw in the lab work, it sounds like a liver torsion. Which means, and this is something we never heard of, but basically it means, and we found out since then, it happens a lot to like rabbits and chinchillas. Well, maybe not a lot, but it happens to them. Where the liver lobe just starts detaching for no reason, out of nowhere. So she said I'd like to give her some pain meds. And she already said she was going to, but she wanted to give her something stronger because she kept reiterating how much pain the rabbit was in. She tried to like press on her bladder to get her to urinate so she could do a urinalysis, but she attacked her. She also was miserable because she wanted out of the cage. She is a free roaming rabbit. So, I was like, okay, how much is it going to cost us extra? $360. And Stephanie just started crying because all she knows is that poor rabbit's in pain. And, please just do it. I'm like, fine, we'll pay you tomorrow. So she told us, we asked what are the options, and she said, surgery, but we can't guarantee that she's going to live. She could die during surgery, she could die after the surgery, or they can keep her for 4 days and just keep giving her medicine and just wait it out. Because at the end of 4 days, she's either going to make it or she's not. And I'm like, no. I'm thinking, no, that's ridiculous, So they're going to be charging us $1,000 a night just to observe her die, and we're not with her? So I talked to Stephanie, and she says, if she's in pain, let's just put her down. So, I usually put 4 coats of different mascaras. So, she said we could come, I think she said, after, 3 o'clock, because she had, a surgery between 1 and 3. That was one of the most painstaking waits. I woke up my son. I told him we're going to have to say goodbye to her. Let me tell you, that was misery. That was misery. This was my first grandbunny. None of my children want children. And to be honest, in this horrible world, the way the world is just getting more and more ridiculous, I don't blame them. Um, so for me, this was like my baby. You know, I would go in there every day, at least once a day. I would give her some pellets. Um, you know, she didn't like to be touched too much, but she, you know, let us pet her, you know, so I would pet her, and she would look so content. That is the image that I have in my head every day of how content she was every time we went in there to pet her. Um, that was pure emotional misery. I knew that I did not want to let her go, but I didn't want her to suffer. We didn't want her to suffer, so we decided it's what was best, and they gave us a form and said, you know, our three options was pay $80 and we can bring home her body, but we don't own a house, we don't have a backyard, so we knew that wasn't an option. And then the second one was we had to pay for disposal, cremation. And then the third one was you can get back her ashes, where the disposal one is that she's just cremated with a bunch of other pets, or you do where you get the ashes back, it's just your pet. So, you know, there goes like another, I think it was 190, another 200. So, that was painstaking. We go there. I asked, do we owe for anything other than what was reported to us? And they said, no. At least that's what they said. The cashier said. But this guy, these two technicians come in and comes and shows me a $1,500 bill. Now I know why the people who hate it, because they say they're money hungry there. The other ones, I guess they have money, and they helped me with my pet, it was great, blah, 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 but it was like you either loved it or hated it. And, we just want to see her. And we got there at maybe 3:30. And we didn't get to see her till 5 o'clock because they were trying to get us to pay this money. And I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was quoted the 360, and then this is the 190. That's $550, and that's all you're getting. You know, and we were going back and forth with them. And to make matters worse, we had already paid for urinalysis, like over something like what, $150, $200 for urinalysis that they didn't even do. So I was like, these people are crazy, you know. So we were going back and forth, and when it was, we were there for almost 2 hours, and my daughter's like, when are we going to get to see her and say goodbye to her, They finally agreed to do the, it was supposed to be $550. I think they charged me like $567. I'm not sure for what. But, I'm like, I'm not paying you another $800 and some odd dollars. No. So, after they agreed to just go with the $550, they were saying that, her IV fell out, so we had to reinsert it, so they were charging us for that. I'm like, first of all, if you had her overnight for observation, that IV should not have come out. If the technician did her job right, that IV should not have come out. So if you had to give her more pain meds, and I said, no, you charged me for your analysis, you didn't do, we're even on that, you didn't do it. Like, I couldn't believe, like, these people are crazy. So finally, after we agreed, they said you can see her now because I agreed to pay the money. Well, we came to an agreement because they were not getting another $800 and something from me, and they finally let her out. I don't remember the last time I cried like that. I did not cry like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I cried like every day for like a month when we put down Sunny. And I think with my cat, I was just more infuriated about how they treated her. That day. So, when they put her down, my grief was mostly infuriation and anger with the cat. But this was my first grandbaby. I'm trying not to cry. I haven't cried since that day. I cried so hard. I didn't want to let her go. You could tell when you picked her up, the pain in her face, the eyes were huge. But once I started holding her and kissing her and telling her how much I love her, she got so content. That's the image that I will always have in my head. And Stephanie just didn't even want to be there anymore. It was just so painful. And honestly, I didn't know how I was going to let her go. Because I honestly felt if I stayed, I was going to throw myself on her and not let them do it. Which is selfish because she was in pain. My son said, I've never held her. I want to hold her and I want to be with her to the end, which I'm so grateful for. Oh my goodness, I was crying in the car while I was waiting. I think my son was there for like another 20 minutes, I think. Oh, this is their blush lip thingy, the new Wet n Wild one. So they said that they were just gonna, from what they explained to me, this already had blush on it, so it looks like it picked up the peach blush I've been using this month. Because this looks way lighter than the peach. But anyway, so my son said that they actually did put her down. Because they said you could just be with her while we put her to sleep, but we'll bring her to the back and we'll finish, the deed. But they let my son be there the whole time, so I'm so grateful that he was the last thing she saw. Not like Gigi, that her last moments were of terror and agony because of that stupid vet, long vet or something out in Houston. He was there the whole time petting her and letting her know it was going to be okay. I mean, I could not imagine her staying there for 4 days while they pump her full of pain meds, miserable in that cage, not going to the bathroom, being in I don't think the pain meds, you're just going to pump her full of pain meds for 4 days and hope for the best? So, I couldn't imagine that, and I'm so grateful that my son was with her. My daughter, when we got home, she did not want to see. Her room was just a bunny playground, and she didn't want to see all of that. And, we spoke to the rabbit rescue, and they were saying, well, you could foster. As we thought about getting another bunny, but we never imagined in a million years that at 2 years old, because she had just turned 2, that you could die from the liver detaching? Like, what the heck? Or the liver lobe? They wanted to charge me like 2,500 just for the sonogram. I could imagine the the surgery bill, and I my credit card is not like it's got a lot of money on it, so I just couldn't imagine. I think it was just the best thing to just put her to sleep peacefully. This is the new, was it Moonlight or something? This is their new highlighter that they just made this year, Wet n Wild. Um, she could not look at it, and as soon as she got home, she took everything apart. We got the cage back. We just put it in the garage. She took down everything she had in there for her. The X pen to keep her out of the closet. She, her bowls, her litter, she had a corner that she liked to sleep on. We put the bottom of the cage, it's like a plastic to keep her cool because it's really hot in Houston and rabbits don't do well in the heat. She had a refrigerator for the rabbit to keep all her greens in. She got rid of that. She couldn't look at it. It was just too painful. So she said no. She knowing that a rabbit can die like that so suddenly from something so random, she was like, yeah, I can't go through that again. So she didn't want to foster. She just didn't want to see it, all of that. Because she said knowing herself and knowing me too, and my son, we would probably get attached to the foster. We'd be the worst fosters ever. And my daughter just did not ever want to go through something like that again. So that whole week that I had planned to do my spring cleaning, I was had to go to the vet twice, and then I had two doctor's appointments, and then we had since she didn't want to see it anymore, we went up to the rabbit rescue and we just donated everything. I mean, having a rabbit is an investment. My daughter's really good about saving her pennies, so she took good care of the rabbit. I gotta do that because the mascara keeps going down. I have deep set eyes that keep going down into my under eye area, and by the end of the day my eyes are black. Even with what's it called, waterproof mascara, it still does it. I already got black under there. So, these places weren't like close by. I like to use green because I have a lot of red in my face, so I use like a green concealer. Anyway, so that week, we were going to appointments, and then we were driving to Timbuktu. So we had to drive into like the northern part of Houston to the rabbit rescue, and donated all that stuff. Food, all the hay. We had like a bushel and a half of hay. We had a giant bin full of pellets, and we bought Oxford because Oxford is the best. We did everything so that rabbit could be healthy and last us a full 10 years because that's about how long they last. So for this to happen, it's just... we're not going through that again. Exotic vets are way more expensive. Um, you know, hey, we get a bushel which could last us probably 2 months. They could go as high as $100. It doesn't make sense to get a smaller bag at $50, $30, because it's not going to last you as long. So, we bought her rabbit toys, things for her, wooden stuff for her to chew on, a tunnel for her to run through. We gave her like a little place to burrow, so we had an empty litter box with like foamy stuff. It's something you could use it for litter, but for litter we just had like a pad. But yeah, they burrow, they do their instincts. We had like a foraging mat. I mean, all of that we donated. It was a lot. It's been a rough month. To make matters worse, my daughter had just bought it was used, but a computer, because hers was getting old and messed up. She went to go put a new hard drive in, like she's done so many times to other computers, but this particular computer, so when she went to open it, these wires, because it was a laptop, and I guess this particular brand had the wires in a different area, and the wires popped out. We went to go take that in to get fixed. Non-fixable. She had just bought it. So that was money down the drain. At least we were able to get our money back for the hard drive. It was just some month. And on top of that, she had a tooth that cracked. And even though we're going to one of those county dentists, which is supposed to be like affordable, they're trying to get, let's do a root canal. Let's save the tooth. The tooth was cracked, and the longer they made excuses as the time was passing, the more it was cracking, till there was nothing really left. We were afraid that we were gonna have to do like oral surgery, and Medicaid doesn't pay for that. So at least that's what they told us. Maybe it's just here in Texas, I don't know. But that Friday, I don't know what appointment I had that Friday, but she came home, her tooth was aching because it was just down to the root with little pieces of tooth. And for me, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. The heaviness of everything, of her breaking her computer she just bought, of us having to say goodbye to our baby, of her being in pain, and the dentist giving us a hard time because they want money. And usually when you go to a county dentist, that's where all people with Medicaid go. They can't afford $1,000 for it's like $3,000 for a root canal, but they say, well, we only charge $1,400, and I'm like, oh, well, should I tell my landlord I'm not paying the rent this month then? Oh, but we could try and fill it. That's going to be something like $300. And I was like, dude, there's nothing to save, And the lady that was working there was giving me a hard time, Stephanie did qualify for a sliding scale, which meant that it would cut the costs in half. But this receptionist she'd been giving us a hard time for the past couple of months, and that's why it got this bad. I finally called, and I want to speak to whoever's over her, She's the office manager, so give me, she's the office supervisor. Give me the office manager because this needs to be taken care of. That was for me just the weight. I felt like a heaviness was on me. So, needless to say, none of the spring cleaning I wanted to get done got done. I had to go get new glasses. I had to do this. So, I spoke to the office manager, and they said that they're really sorry she's putting us through that, and that it'll be $150 to remove the tooth, and that's exactly how much funds they have that she qualified for to do, and that she'll talk to the office supervisor. So, because I don't want to go in there and she's giving me a hard time again, So I go in there, and would you believe that the office supervisor was on lunch? She was leaving to go to lunch, and when she saw me, she actually stopped from going to lunch and said, "So how much are you paying?" I said, "Nothing, because I spoke to your manager." "Oh, she didn't talk to me. I thought she said she was going to talk to you." She's the one who made that appointment. "Well, tell me what day so I could see." Like, I don't need this, man. Like, what the heck? Like, seriously, what is this lady's problem? Why are you there? You know that the people who come here are people with low income. Why are you there? You're saying they take advantage? No. They're not taking advantage. If they qualify for it, who are you to get in the way and say you're not going to let them use the money? And she was trying to say, "Well, I'll discount you $50." I said, No. I spoke to your manager, and she said that it's only going to be $150, and it's fully paid for by funding. Oh my goodness. She was on her computer, upset, looking to see if it was true that the office manager made the appointment. Like, lady, you stayed away from lunch to do the, what the heck? Go relax. Go do your lunch. Why you gotta be bothering me, Telling you, it's been some month. We took the computer to 2 different places, and they both said it was non-fixable. Thank goodness one place didn't charge anything to look at it, and the other one just charges $25 to look at it. It said this is unfixable because whatever wires broke, it's like you're gonna need to get everything like parts brand new. It's not worth it. So it has been some months. So now we're paying $1,400 with interest, paying off the credit card. I'm pretty confident we'll have it paid by a year, but and then I don't think I had told you this before because I just started this channel, and I don't think I did it in my other channel, but we want to move out of this place because they were forcing us to pay for their internet that I didn't want, because at first their internet kept going down and I was happy with my internet. So to make matters even worse, this was like back in, I think, November, December, and I was telling my husband, we really need to move. I'm just really just fed up. We really need to move. They're making us pay for something we didn't want, and this has been going on for years now. They forced us to pay to get lockers instead of getting the packages delivered. They forced us to pay for a garbage service that we don't need. They made everything electronic, so our locks and our thermostats electronic, which was using up data, so I had to go to unlimited data. Our electricity bill increased. I mean, that for me was the last straw. And I go to get on my internet and I can't. Apparently, we have the same internet company, Xfinity, because at the time that's the only one that they had here when I first moved here. So Xfinity cut me off and said I had to go through them. I didn't even let them in to put in the internet stuff here because I didn't want their internet. Thank goodness my husband said, well, you know, it covers the whole property. You could just use a regular staff password and you'll get on the internet. But I have been, I was like 2 or 3 days trying to, you know, get internet. And I'm calling the office saying, look, and I called Xfinity. I said, why would you disconnect me? How do they have the right to say that I have to go through them and not you? Well, the landlord has it connected to the entire property, and it's really up to the landlord. So we had to turn off your internet because you have to use theirs. And oh my god! And it was the good part is that I'm a platinum member, and I don't lose my platinum member status. I still get Peacock for free, and I don't other benefits. They said so. This has been some month, and I have been trying to do other things that I planned, and I finally finished the desk. Finally finished putting away all the receipts and all the mail and any paperwork, and I haven't been able to get through still to the office to find out what I need to do because I don't think, like I said, I didn't even let them in here to connect the internet because I was afraid it would interfere, and it did anyway. So, just been a month. I still miss my baby, my grandbunny. But you know, the one who's taking it the worst is my son. My daughter's come to terms with it already. I've pretty much come to terms with it too. I'm just really, you know, just like, I guess in a mild depression over it, just really hurting and missing her. So it's been a month, man. It's been a month. I had to get new glasses. Right now, they need to be cleaned, but because I didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars on progressives, and because progressives haven't been working that great for me lately, this past few years, I just got trifocals, and I know people look at me a little funny, but I just want, it's like $10 to see the doctor, $10 for the glasses. And if the frames go over 130, you have to pay the difference. So it's just like a $10 difference. You have to pick whatever they have there. Whatever they have there, they just grab it and send it off. It's not like you can order it. I went with this one because it was a beautiful lavender or lilac color. But I don't like the shape though because I have a round face, so I always try to get like a square, rectangular. But this is a weird shape. It doesn't complement my face, but
I think it does too.
But I think it's beautiful, and I love the trifocals because before they could never, this past couple of years, they can never get the progression right. If they brought up the bottom so I could read, then my regular and distance wouldn't work. If they brought it down, then I couldn't read, and basically that's what's been my issue like these past few years. So I said, how can I resolve this? They said to buy focus, but you don't want that. Of course they don't want me to buy that because all I'm paying is $10. They wanted to get $200, and they're always like, oh, get the assurance, get the protective layer, and this, that, and the other thing, and that's glass. You definitely want polycarbon, and I was like, I remember fighting it for many years, but the last time I just went ahead and I let them talk me into getting more expensive glasses, but I could never be on the computer, and I could barely read with them. So I was like, nope, with our car payments, with having to pay the credit card off, I'm just doing the trifocals. And honestly, when they do the exam, I was still seeing blurry, and they're telling me, oh, it's that you're getting older, it's that you have, it's that I have cataracts, but they're not bad enough to do surgery. And I'm like, so they're always making excuses. And let me tell you, for the past few years, it's been excuse after excuse. So they're always making excuses that I'm just never gonna see perfect again. And I don't remember if it was like 6 or 8 years ago I got that correct. I said, no, you're gonna keep doing it till I do it right. And then this last time they couldn't get it right, and so I couldn't read or see the computer, but I had old computer glasses that I could use for reading and being on the computer. So that's what I kept using. So this time I'm like, nope, I want the trifocals. And I didn't think it was going to work because they're still making the same excuses as to why they can't get me to see perfect, blah, blah. And I was like, but they said they would give me a refund if it didn't work. So I honestly didn't expect it to work. And when I got them last week, I was really surprised that I could be on the computer. That's the one in the middle, but it has to be right before your eye line, or you're going to constantly be seeing that line. So they did it right underneath the eye line. Then underneath it's for reading, so that's a bigger part. And then I have the distance on top. And I really liked it. Just once you get used to it, the line, because it's just below my line of vision. So sometimes you can see it, but if I'm on the computer, I just push them in more, and I got that middle. And then if I'm outside, I bring them down a little more so I can see distance. I can see pretty well, but they might be right about me, because after a while, one of the issues I've had is that if I'm on my phone and then I look up, everything's blurry. So that's still happening. I didn't think it would, but that is still happening. So just been a month for me. I've been crocheting a lot. I finished this blanket right behind me. I finished. I made a hat. I saw this like rainbow bright yarn. I made a hat. This is what I did for St. Patrick's Day. So I wanted to do it again because I thought I took a picture and I didn't. So I figure I'll do a get ready with me video. It's, oh, Lord. Talk about, losing my precious rabbit, precious grandbunny, I call her.
Shit.
One of the things though, of course they were trying to get me to pay for the biggest package of, where you get the ashes back, but then we would have had to buy an urn, and my daughter just didn't want it laying around. So we found out that with the package we bought, which was the middle one, which is for disposal, that you get a little paw print in clay, in a frame. That would have probably been another $50, and I was I was even willing to pay the $50, but thank goodness I didn't, and I got it. And the funny thing is that when my daughter first got the rabbit 2 years ago, I like this color green lipstick. It's very frosty. I like deep green colors. So anyway, 2 years ago, my daughter, is the seat I'm sitting in now, she rolled back her office chair, a computer chair, desk chair, and rolled over the rabbit's paw. She was underneath and we didn't know. And a piece of her toe came off. It was horrible. And she knew something was wrong because the rabbit was hopping all over the place and then ran under the bed. And when she came out, we saw blood. I kept that. I was thinking of putting it in a necklace. But for 2 years, I kept it on my vanity here. Anyway, we also had to go drive back up there to get the plaque when it was ready. So it's been a really intense month for me. And then so we took that, when they took her paw print, it's the one that had a piece of the toe missing. So we put the toe in there, and it's in a frame. They sent us a condolence card, which was really nice. So now she's frolicking with Sonny and Gigi up in the Rainbow Bridge. So that's been my month. That's been through it this month, but we finally, my daughter got her, we went that day. The lady finally went to lunch when she saw that it was the office manager who made the appointment, and said that they'll cover it. Because usually they get like a $200 funding per person a year when someone can't afford something. And this was ridiculous. Her tooth, it's still bothering her. I have to go back on Wednesday just so they can make sure she's okay and not infected. But she was there for hours. They were pulling out, they had to pull it out by piece because it was just so broken. And it shouldn't have come to that. If we tell you we want to remove it because we can't afford, then don't stall. This place has been doing that for years. Ever since COVID, they've been stalling because they want more money out of you. And I'm like, hello, people that are on Medicaid, on welfare, or low income, come here. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, so that's been that. So anyway, that's what's been going on, and hopefully this month I'd like to do a couple of videos with some of the Wet n Wild stuff. No new announcements. I think they did Scooby-Doo, they did Fantasy Makers at the same time, they did the Marilyn Monroe, and they did a holiday collection, all within a matter of like 4 months, like from August to December. So usually in January they have a small release. Nothing. By now they would have announced their spring line, spring release limited edition. Nothing. So I think it's because they've released like 4 collections within 4 months. So I want to do that. Use my LA Color multi-chrome, dual-chrome. So yeah, there are things that I'd like to do. So anyway, okay, so I will see you guys soon. Take care. Mwah.